Greetings and welcome to this second module on Excel out there. In the first session, we have learned a few things. Let us look at how we are going to look at changing the alignments of cell out there, how we are going to undo and redo our actions if at all we want to do it, formatting numbers, clearing the formats, applying borders to the cells there, merging cells, and then formatting cells, how to wrap text which exceeds beyond a cell out there, and then alignments, format painter, how exactly it works, and then ranges worksheet, select the range, cut, copy, paste, and moving of data out there, understanding the use of paste special, and then transpose out there, and then using menu options to show, hide, formula bar, grid lines, and headings out there, and then move, insert, and delete worksheets, changing the sheet name, applying tab color, things like that, and then optimizing common options in Excel out there. So this is going to be the things that we are going to look in this particular session out there. And then to do that, I'm going to use this sheet out there. So let me look at this here. Looking at this particular sheet out there. So this is what it is. So let us look at first using the alignment in the home menu that shows the different alignments of text in the table 1. This is actually my table 1 out there. So you can see this is table 1. This is what I have in this table out there. I want to look at the alignments. So let us go and see. This is what is there in that. In this cell, there is nothing essentially. So you can see that if I go to the home tab, there I have this alignment, this thing, and then I can essentially look at, say, I want an angle counterclockwise, for example. I just click on that, and then you can see how exactly it has changed. So let me just move this line out there, and then you should be able to see that. So this is how I could align, and then I could go again to the home tab out there. I could say rotate text up. So this is how the rotation would happen, and then I could increase the height of that uh, particular cell out there, and then look at options there, and then let us go back and look at a couple of more options there, maybe rotated down. So you can see what was the change that typically happened out there, and then you can rotate text down there so it comes back to the normal out there, and then you can have vertical text like this, and then could have text being displayed this way. So we are essentially looking at they're essentially looking at this text this way. So you can see the text out there by I have increased the column width there to look at the text. So this is how you would do the alignments of text in this thing. So let me put it in the put it back to the normal out there. Mm, So let me bring it back to the normal text out there. So this is one another way of doing the adjustment there. So when I do that, it will come back to the normal there. So this is how you would actually look at alignments there. Supposing I want to undo and um, redo things out there. If I want to undo and redo my things out there, then you would see that I have to just click this button out there. It will go back to the previous there. There was a height adjustment, so it went back, and then you can see that it will go back. One thing you have to remember is I can trace back nine previous uh, steps of what I have done to the entire text out there. So that's the whole process. So this is how you would undo that. And redoing is you can use this button there. You can go back and select a step where you exactly want that information to stop. Essentially, maybe I want to stop at this point and then just click here and go back to the normal. So this is for actions for undoing and redoing it again. See. So this is how you can trace back and forth essentially. And then uh, I want to format. I want to format the table for the data that is present in a particular cell. Let me say I want something that is there are data types out here essentially. So you can see that you can have general, number, currency, accounting, short date, long date, time, and then you can make data into percentages, fractions, scientific data out there. There are more numeric formats also where you can look at text, special, custom, and all these things. And then you can look at, essentially at the fonts there. You can look at the borders. You can have thick borders, thin borders, dotted lines, and things like that. I can fill the thing with information of colors there. So if you look there, there's a sample out there. So the cell that I selected, you can do that. Let me just undo that for you for the moment. So let me say that I want general format here. So in the general format, you can see that, let me say something like this. Then let me just drag this column for you. So now you can see that it has accepted both numeric and character data out there. And then when I look at this is general this thing there. And then if I convert this to number, for example, if this is going to be changed to a number format out there, you can see that it is stored still as a character there, but essentially I cannot use it for any type of manipulations out there. But the same thing I can use it as text out there, and then it will still be like that. Supposing I say 2009, say something like that, and then I say enter. You can see that this thing is in general format. So all characters will always be aligned at the left hand side of the cell. That is the understanding that you need to have out there. So the moment I change this to a number out there, you can see that the number format works out there. And then I will just decrease the decimal point out there. So a number should always get aligned towards the uh, right, essentially. So let us just check out. So you can see that there is some format issue out here in this cell there. So let me just go here and then change this into a number out there, and then let me say I want only 0 decimal points out there, and then let me say it should be there in this format. So but then it is not moving to the left out there, so that means when I use it in mathematical operations, so this is not going to work. So let me change the cell formatting there for you. So this is how you change it to the this thing there. Supposing I want to add a currency out there, for example, and make this into currency. So you can see it is added there. So that's the uh, thing out there. So essentially, if I add a currency in the actual number, this is how it is going to be stored out there. So this is how it will be there. So this is how it would look like, essentially. And then accounting type of information there, I will go here and then change that for you. So this is how it will be displayed in the accounting information out there. And then let us enter a date out there. So I will say 24 of February 2021, for example, there. And then I go and give this as a short date out there. I change the format to short date, so it's become a date format there. If it is a long date, then it has to change. So let me just check out in another cell out there. So 24/02/2021, and then say let me give a long date out there first. So it should actually display 24th of Feb 2021. Some formatting issue I am facing out there. So let me just take some other cell out there. Say 24/02/2021 out there. And then since it is in general out there, let me go back there and then select on the long date there, and then it gives me the date format out there. So this is how we would be able to actually change the format out there, and then look at the whole process. So this is how we would do it. We have seen at accounting, we have looked at dates, and then we can look at time there. So the time now is almost around, let me say 5 colon 53 there, and then let me make it time out there so you can see how exactly it changes. That's the server time that is given. So I can have a long date out there. So you can see it is displaying uh, some information from the server there. So this is how the date would typically look like when you are using the long data format out there. And then if you are using the short date out there, this is how it is going to look like. So this is the way in which we will be able to display the whole information there. And if I want to display something in percentage, for example, I select this cell, go there, and then it automatically gets into percentage. I can decrease the zeros, I can increase the zeros out there. So this is all pertaining to the formatting that we would typically be having out there. So this is about the second question that we were supposed to look at, where we are the third question, where we are formatting a data that is present in a cell. Now I want to clear these particular formats that are there in these cells. So I will just select these formats out there, go to this clear button, press on clear formats out there. So all the formats are now cleared. So you can see how the number has changed now essentially. So if you look at this, it is still in general, but if I make it into a number out there, so it is changing to a number. So now I have selected that cell. I want to clear the format there. I can do a clear content out there. I can do a clear content out there. It will clear the contents there. I can even clear comments. I can clear hyperlinks that I have created. So this way you can clear all. If you say clear all the information here would, whatever selections you have done basically would get this thing there. So if I say I select these things there and say clear all out there, so it would clear out. So that's how you are going to use the clear functionality out there. And then clear format, that's what was this thing there. And then applying of the borders is what we need to check out there. So I will just select this entire this thing out there, table. Maybe this is there only till here. So I will select this and then I will apply the borders to this. I will say all borders. So you can see how the change has typically happened there. So it is selected all the borders, and maybe let us say I want a thick outside border line. So you can see the difference out there. Since the text is moving out, you are not able to see things clearly out there. So now what I want is merge the cells in table 1 by clicking on the table out there. So I want to merge cells. So maybe I will take these two cells there. I will center it, or maybe let me take till this end here, merge, and then again center it there and then push it back out there. And then I will select all these cells merge, and then take it there, and then select on that. So now you can see I will select this entire thing there, and then let me put all the borders out there, and then let me say I want a thick outside border there. So this is how it would look like. So to make it more precise, let me put this there. Let me merge the cell out there, and then do the whole process. So now you have been able to do the bordering for the text out there. Column width adjustment, I have shown you how we do the column width adjustment by moving the this thing here, and then we can also move the this thing out here. So now what I want to do is I want to undo this merging there. So I'm going to just go back, remove the merging there. So you can just see that this information is there only in this cell. It is not there in this cells there. So now I want to change the font out there, for example. So I can say bold, so it becomes bold there. I change the way it looks like italic, change the color of the font out there. So I can go here and make changes. Say I make it into a dark blue color out there. So this is how I could change the font color out there. And then the next is to look at wrapping the text out there. So I will just go and say wrap text there, so you can see the entire text has come into this cell. I'll select this one, wrap it up, and then the height of the column is like this thing. So I just double clicked on the row end here. The double clicking would adjust the height out there, and then if you just move the cell like this, then you can identify how exactly it moves. And then wrap text, and then alignment I have shown you. And let me say that I make some type of background here. Let me say I'm putting a light blue background there, and then I'm changing the font color here to say this mm, let me say maybe I'm changing it back to black there. And then I've selected this cell. I go to format paint there, select it there, and just click it, right, click the thing mouse and then drag it down there. Automatically whatever format is there in the previous cell comes into the next cell. All you have to do is just select the cell in which you have to copy the format, go to format paint. You will get an icon like this. So go and click on this cell where I'm holding it there, and just drag it there. Right click the mouse and then drag it down. So you the format will get automatically copied there. So row heights and width I have already told you. And then cut copy paste is something that I want to explain there. So I will say control C, that is for copying, or we can go and use this copy here, copy, and then I put it somewhere else, position the server, and control V. If I say, this is how it is going to get copied out there. Once you are able to copy it, I want you to we pasted it also. Copy and paste is done out there, and then we want to move the table essentially. So when I want to move the table, you just select it there, and then you can just cut it out there, and then paste it somewhere else, and this is how it would get this thing. This is how you cut and then move it. That's how the whole process happens. Another very important thing that I want you to understand is, let us say I delete this information that I have selected here, and then let me copy the whole table here, so that that gives you the specific understanding out there. So I'm going to just copy this information there, and then I'm going to just place this, and there is an option called as paste special out there. So I'm going to just select this, and you can see that there's an option called transpose there, and then I use this selection there, and then I say OK. So you can see whatever was there in the columns has moved to the row, and whatever was there in the row has moved to the column out there. So this is the type of transformation that would typically happen when we are looking at transpose essentially. And next is, I want to hide the formula bar, the grid lines, and the header line. Grid line is nothing but the lines that are getting displayed here. So this is the lines that are there in this process there. So I will just go to view there, and then there is a option here. So the moment I deselect this grid lines, all the lines have gone. And then you can also see out there that if I remove this, the headings will be gone. And then once I deselect this, the formula bar is also gone. So this is the place where we can actually insert grid lines and remove the grid lines, headings, and the formula bar. This is under the view menu out there. And then if I want to move, insert, and delete worksheets, supposing I want this sheet to be moved from this position, say to the last position here, I have to just select that and then put it there. So I want this to be at the last, for example. So I can just put it there, and then it gets positioned out there. Supposing I want this to be positioned as the first one here, I can do that. So this way you can move the sheets, the schedule, the sequencing of the sheets can be moved out there. And then if I want to insert a new one, you can just press on this plus button here, and then a new sheet will get added wherever the last positioning of the cursor was there. Supposing I want a new this thing here, for example, so I can position it here, and you can see where the sheet is getting inserted. All I have to do is, positioning is important, so it gets sandwiched there. So that is how you could insert the sheet there. Supposing I want to delete the sheet, all I have to do is just position my mouse pointer there, right click on that, and then say delete. So that sheet will be deleted for you. So this way you can delete the sheets out there. So that's how you have to move, insert, and delete the worksheets. And then renaming of the sheet, and then applying a tab color. Say for example, I want to rename this is how I would do it. Right click on that sheet there, sheet name, and then go there. Now it is asking you to change. Now let me change that this thing there. So this is how you can change the name. And then if you want to delete, this is how you delete. And then renaming is this is how we do there. And you can also use this one. You can say move there, and then you can position the this thing wherever you want. For example, I want to move this, and then say OK. So you can just move it to the last out there. So this is how you would move the whole thing out there. So that is how to do the deletions, insertions we saw, and renaming, and then applying the tab color out there. So if I want to apply a tab color like what I have done here, I can go to the tab color here, select any color out there. Say I select this color, and then I come out here, I come to the next tab there. You can see the color being inserted into the tab. All you have to do is right click on that sheet there, and then go to the tab color option. Go and select any color that you really want out there, and then that differentiates the whole this thing. So this is how you would add colors out there, and then next this thing is to look at customizing your common options in Excel out there. So this is something to add with these things out here. You want to add a new menu out there, essentially. That's the thing that we are trying to look at. So we go to options here, and then I'm going to the customize ribbon option there. So the moment I select on customize a ribbon, this is the screen that you are going to get. This is all the popular functionalities that are there in your this thing there. So I'm now going to say position my the this thing here. I want a new tab out there. So I'm looking at a new tab. So the new tab. I want to rename that tab there. So for this thing here, I will say important functionalities. Say, or this is going to be a longer name there. I will say imp func, for example, is what I'm going to say out there, and then say OK. So the name has changed here. So now I create a group there, put a new group name, and then I say important, for example, and then say OK. And now you can see that these are the things that have happened there. Now I'm going to go and select what all things I want in this new group, essentially. So I'm going to say add that there. I'm going for conditional formatting. I will go for say font color. I will say go for free paints, for example. Let me say let me go for the merge and center option there. So this way I can move in whatever functionalities I actually require there, and then I can say OK out here, and then you can see that you can see that the new tab has been added for me, new menu has been added there, and then whatever functionalities that you use very regularly and do not want to go and search each of those menus and then do the whole process, you can go to this menu out there, pull out this ribbon, and then select that particular functionality, and it will still work for you. For example, let me say merge and center. So it is merged and it's let me say this two cells. Let me say I want to merge and center. You can see these two cells have got together out there. This is how you can work with customizing the whole functionality out there. Thanks for your patient hearing. This is all that we had to discuss in this particular session of module 2 out there. Thank you and see you in the next session.